All right, sitting up nice and straight. Eyes are up here.
Small letters used at the beginning of syllables after the first one. I, three-letter I. Used at the beginning of syllables after the first one.
All right, good. Remember, this one has two sounds. One more time. What are they?
Used at the beginning of syllables after the first one. A, four-letter A. Two-letter O.
Remember, the first sound of this one is O. All right, what are the six sounds?
O, oo, ow.
All right, we'll put that one aside so I remember to have us practice it later.
Two-letter used only at the beginning of a base word.
Very good.
Two-letter
Good. And our last one.
J. Three-letter J. Used only after a single vowel that says
All right, I think I'm going to have us do those later, and I'm going to ask a few of the ladies who are being leaders to just say it in their head because I want to make sure we all know those. One more time. What's this one? Excellent. All right, we are reviewing some words for our test that will be on Friday. So the first phonogram that we'll need is the of worms. Class, what are you going to write?
the of worms.
Say it while you write it.
The of worms.
Remember, if we're writing it, we need to be saying it, and as soon as we're finished, our pencils down. All right, class, put your finger under that phonogram you just wrote. Finger under that phonogram. What is it?
of worms.
The of worms. Good. I saw some different things. This is our the of worms. Class, I want everyone, even if you got that correctly, to write it 2 more times, saying it while you write it. If you had something else, cross it out first.
of worms. of worms.
All right. Did everyone write that 2 more times? I heard everyone say it 1 time for sure. Okay. All right, our next phonogram is E-A. What are you going to write?
E-A.
Say it while you write it.
E-A.
All right, put your finger under that phonogram, class. If you can't remember it by now, we'll just have learned a little baseline. What is that phonogram?
E-A.
E-A. Good. This is our E-A. All right, great. Our next phonogram we need is O, oo, uff, off. Or sorry, no. My mistake is ow, o, oo, Sorry, so our next phonogram is ow, o, oo, Class, what are we going to write?
Ow, oh, ooh,
Good. Say it while you write it.
Ow, oh, ooh,
All right, class, put your finger under that phonogram you just wrote. What is it?
Ow, oh, ooh,
Good. Ow, oh, ooh, This is our ow, o, ooh, If you didn't have that and you're fixing it, say it while you're fixing it. All right, nice work, class. The next one is sh, tall letter sh, used at the beginning of syllables after the first one. What are you going to write?
Tall letter sh. Used at the beginning of syllables after the first one.
Say, what do you write it?
Tall letter sh. Used at the beginning of syllables after the first one.
All right, put your finger under that phonogram you just wrote. Thank you, everyone who's ready nice and quickly. Finger under that phonogram you just wrote. What is it?
Tall letter sh. Used at the beginning of syllables after the first one.
Good. This is our sh, tall letter sh, used at the beginning of syllables after the first one. All right, nice job, class. So we're going to review some words. I'm thinking we'll be able to go pretty quickly. All right, our first word is world. Class, what's the word?
World.
All right, now which do we use in world?
Earlier of worms.
The of worms. Good. Remember, usually, I don't know if it's always, when we have an sound after what, it's almost always earlier of worms. All right, so go ahead and write the sounds in world. Say them while you write them. Wait, don't say or. What would we say for this? We should be saying while we're writing this. Not word. What was the word? World? World. We're going to need an extra sound in there. World. All right. Put your finger under that first phonogram, class. What is it? Oh, what's our first sound? What? Oh. All right, take a second. Finger under that first phonogram. What is it? Which the of worms. All right, make sure yours looks like this. All right, if you need to fix it, make sure you're saying the sounds while you're fixing it. Remember, if we're fixing anything, we need to make sure we're saying the sounds while we're doing that. Since this is a review word, you can go ahead and mark it on your own. If you did not already. All right, class, what's the one thing I need to mark in my word?
Earlier.
All right, I'm seeing that we need to review this phonogram a little bit. So class, you're right. These two letters, when they don't have this in front of them, what do they say? When this is in front of them, what do they say? All right. So again, we're not going to underline this. It's not part of that sound. We're just going to underline these two. But whenever this is in front of them, we don't call them or. What do we call them? They make the sound, and it's our the of worms. All right. Our next word is the word sea. Class, what's our word?
Sea.
All right, but not like the kind you do with your eyes, right? Like a big body of water. All right, in that kind of sea, which E do we use?
E-A-A.
E-A-A. Go ahead and write sea. Say the sounds while you write them.
E.
right, I'm gonna write my words a little bit differently than I usually do, but you'll see why when we finish practicing these words. All right, class, one more time. Which E do I need to use in C?
E-A-A.
All right, E-A-A. Make sure yours looks like this. And you can go ahead and mark it if you did not yet. What do I need to mark in my word?
E-A-A.
E-A-A. So class, the other kind of C, the kind you do with your eyes, it sounds the same, but it's spelled differently and means different things. I'm trying to remember which of our H words is that? Which one is spelled differently? Which of our H words? Everyone who knows, tell me. All right, a homophone is the one where they're spelled two different ways. So C and C are homophones. I don't think we put that in our notebook, so we should do that later. All right, our next word is group. Class, what's the word?
Group.
Good. I saw a group of children on the playground group. Which oo do we use in group?
L-O-U-O.
All right, everyone, which oo do we use in group?
L-O-U-O.
Good. Say the sounds while you write them. All right, make sure you're saying the sounds, all of the sounds while you write them. Class, which oo did we use in group?
L-O-U-O.
Good. L-O-U-O. All right. Make sure yours looks like this. If it doesn't, then you need to fix it. Say the sounds while you're fixing it. All right. When I was looking around, I don't know if anyone had, if we all had this marked correctly, because class, can we just underline this?
No.
No, because then what would it be saying?
Grout.
Ow, right? This would be ow and it would be grout. And that's not a word. So how do we need to mark this? All right. Some of us aren't telling me, so wait just one second. You can put it down. Thank you if you were showing me. What are the four sounds of this phonogram?
L-O-U-O.
It's saying ooh. How do we need to mark it? Show me. All right. We need that 3 on top. If you don't have both of those markings on your L-O-U-S, go ahead and mark them now. All right. Our next word that we're going to review is nation. Class, what's the word?
Nation.
It's a two-way word. How do we say it to spell it?
Nation.
Nation. Very good. What's our first syllable?
Nation.
What kind of syllable is it?
Open.
It's an open syllable. Good. And which sh do we use in our second syllable?
Tall letters. Use at the beginning of syllable or after the first one.
Good. Say the sounds while you write them. All right. Make sure we're saying the sounds while we're writing them. All right, class, what was our first syllable?
Nay.
Nay. What kind of syllable was it?
Open.
That means we have to have our single vowel at the end. And what was our second syllable?
Sean.
Sean, good. And which sh was it?
Tall letters used at the beginning of the syllables after the first one.
Remember, if we're reminded of that, then I expect you to use that, right? Because that's why we practiced it. And I told you, so everyone should have spelled this word correctly the first time. All right, if your word doesn't look like this and you're fixing it, say the sounds while you're fixing it. If you didn't do the markings yet, do the markings. All right, class, what's the first thing I need to mark in my word? Oh, good. I was afraid you were going to forget that one. What gets our thinking cap? Right, anytime we have that shun ending, we always say it's shun like in information and action. And I know there were a couple other words we had this year. All right, our next word is country. Class, what's our word?
Country.
Country. All right, how many syllables are in country? Good, there are 2 syllables. Thank you, everyone who's showing me. What's our first syllable? Kun. And the second one?
Tree.
All right, in our first syllable, kun, we don't use our usual Which do we use? Good, we use our ow, ooh, All right, and in the second syllable, tree, which E do we use?
I-E.
Very good. Yep, I-E. All right, write the sounds in country. Say them while you write them. All right, make sure you're saying all the sounds while you're writing them. All right, thank you if you're just waiting patiently with your pencil down when you're finished. Class, what's our first syllable? Kun, and we don't use our usual Which did we use? Ow, ooh, And what's our second syllable? Tree, and which E was it?
I-E.
Good. Class, what kind of syllable is our second syllable in this word?
Open.
What is it? Open, right. That's how this is able to say E. All right, so if yours doesn't look like this, make sure you're saying the sounds while you're fixing them. All right, class, how do we need to mark our ow, ooh, All right, just so I know everyone knows. If we're not sure, if we don't remember like this, we've got to say the sounds. Class, what are the 4 sounds of this phonogram? So anytime it says how are we going to mark it? Good, that's its 4th sound. All right, so if you didn't mark that, go ahead and mark it. And how do we need to mark our I-E? Oh, it's saying E. That is, wait. So what are the 3 vowel sounds of this phonogram? All right, well, ignore ya, right? I know we're so used to saying it because that's its consonant sound. Its 3 vowel sounds are what? How do we mark it when it says E? Everyone show me. Good, remember, and just the 3. All right, so make sure you got it marked like that as well. All right, our last word we're going to review for right now is example. Class, what's our word?
Example.
How many syllables are in example? All right, so everyone should be showing me the syllables now. All right, this one we had a hard time with on the quiz, so we got to make sure we're paying attention. We'll practice it several times. Thanks everyone who's showing me the syllables. How many syllables? Good, there are 3 syllables in example. The first syllable, if you remember it, tell me.
X.
X. Go ahead and write that first syllable, X. Class, what's our second syllable?
Am.
Am. Go ahead and write that, saying the sounds while you write them. All right, and exam. What's our third syllable?
Whole.
Whole. All right. Go ahead and say those sounds while you write them. All right, as soon as you're finished, pencils are down. All right, I hope we remembered that we need something at the end. Go ahead and put your finger under that first syllable. Class, what's our first syllable?
X.
X.
Syllable break.
What's next?
Syllable
Our
break.
next syllable is? Am.
Syllable break. Whole.
All right. So class, the sounds in my last syllable are just and oh. What do I not have that every English syllable needs?
Vowel.
A vowel. Which silent final E fixes that problem?
Silent final E. Job 4.
Very good. Job 4. I hope everyone remembered that silent final E job 4. If you didn't, and you need to fix something, make sure you're saying the sounds while you're fixing them. All right, class, since this one was a hard one, I want everyone to write example one more time, saying all the sounds while you write them.
Syllable break.
So one more time. All right, and then there's only one thing we need to mark in our word class, because both of these first two syllables are what kind of syllable?
Close.
Good, they're closed syllables, so all we need to mark is what?
Silent final E. Job 4.
Good, remember that's one of the only ones where we ever have just the E marked, 4 and 6. We just mark the E. All right, let's quickly read through our words that we practiced. Eyes are up here.
World, sea, group, nation,
Wait, but how do we say this to spell it?
nation,
Good.
country, example.
All right, class, all of our words are a certain part of speech. See, remember, when I say part of speech, what are answers that are parts of speech? Right, we want to make sure our answers make sense. So since these are all the same parts of speech, be listening so you know what kind of answers I'm looking for. Kimber, what's a part of speech?
Noun,
All right, Kimber, what's another one?
verb,
What's another one, Kyrie? Pronoun. Good. What's another one, Kimber? Kimber, Britta.
adjective,
All right, and what's another one, Sienna?
adverb,
Adverb. All right, good. Those are the 5 we know. So if I say what part of speech, we want to make sure that our answer is one of those 5 things. So take a second to think, these are all the same part of speech. I want you to figure out what part of speech they all are. All right, when you know, put your finger on your nose, and it might take us a while, but if you figure out that one of them is a part of speech, just quickly check and see if all the others are that same part of speech. So are these all verbs? We know that we can cross them out, right? We know they're not pronouns. No. Are these verbs? Can you world?
No.
No, so they aren't verbs. Let's see. Are these all nouns? Are these all things? Is a world a thing?
Yes.
How about a sea?
Yes.
How about a group?
Yes.
How about a nation?
Yes.
How about a country?
Yes.
How about an example? So class, all of our words are what part of speech?
Noun.
All right. These are all singular nouns. What does singular mean? What does singular mean? When we're learning a noun in our spelling list, we always learn the singular. Okay, if you're not sure, make sure you're listening so you know when I ask you tomorrow. All right, everyone who knows, tell me, what does singular mean?
Just one.
Good, singular means just one. So all of these, you would use them if you're talking about just one of that thing. But what if I want to talk about more than one of this? Let's see, for almost every noun, what do I add to make it? So I want to talk about more than one. What's my fancy word for more than one? Everyone who knows, tell me.
Plural.
Plural, good. These are all singular. For almost every noun, if I want to make it plural, what do I add? If I want to write about more than one of that thing, what do I have to add? Well, good thing we're reviewing this. Everyone who knows, tell me. Good, I add, or in this case, we could call it its name. We could say we have to add S to almost every noun to make it plural. All right, so we're going to practice making our singular nouns. We're going to practice making our singular nouns plural. So more than one world. What would that be?
World.
Worlds. What are you going to add to make it plural? Go ahead and write worlds. Say the sounds while you write them. And remember, we just say the one sound that it's making. If we're writing it, we wouldn't, in a word, we wouldn't say s, we would just say the sound that it's making in that word. So we would say either s or z, but not both if we're writing it in a word. All right, when we're finished with that, our pencils are down. All right, class, you just wrote the plural of world. What's the plural of world?
World.
Worlds. And how are we going to mark this guy? Are we going to mark it? If it gets any marking, we know it's going to get the same one. Right? Oh, wait, I'm seeing kind of a variety of things here. So there's no need to underline it. If it's saying, all right, put your hands down for just a second. If this is saying its first sound, s, does it get a marking?
No.
How do we mark it if it's saying its second sound, z? It doesn't need an underline, right? We couldn't underline it, that wouldn't be right. But if it's saying its second sound, z, it's going to get a 2 on top. So world, z. How am I going to mark it? Show me. Good, all right. Make sure yours is marked too. All right, class C is a singular noun. We want to make it plural. What do we need to add?
S.
Good, all right, go ahead and write. Oh, what's the plural of C?
C.
C's. All right, go ahead and write that, saying the sounds while you write them. All right, when you're finished, pencils are down. All All right, class, we just wrote the plural of sea. What's the plural of sea?
Sea.
Seas. Which E did we use in seas?
E-A-A.
And do I need to mark this? Seas. Seas. All right, good. It needs a 2. All right, class, we want to write the plural of group. What would the plural of group be?
Groups.
Groups. And which oo are we going to use?
L-O-U-O.
Terrific. Go ahead and write groups, saying the sounds while you write them. All right, class, you just wrote the plural of group. What is the plural of group?
Groups.
Groups. Which oo did you use?
L-O-U-O.
Good. Did you remember the 3 on top? Good. All right. Does this need a marking? Groups. Groups. Does this need a, wait, groups. It's saying its first sound. Do we need to mark it? No. All right. All right. Nation. Class, we want to make that plural. What's our word going to be?
Nations.
Nations. Sorry, but we have to say what to spell it?
Nations.
Nations. All right. Go ahead and write nations and say the sounds till you write them. So we're making these plural. So we're going to write nations. All right, class. The singular is nation. You wrote nations, and that means that means more than one. What's our fancy name in English for more than one?
Plural.
Plural. Good. So you wrote the plural of nation. And how do we have to say nation to spell it?
Nation.
Nation. Nations. Does this need a marking? Nations. Z. Thank you, everyone who's showing me. Time do we need to mark this? Nations. Z. Good. It gets a 2. All right. Make sure your nations has a 2. All right, class. Our next word. What's our next word?
Country.
Country. That's singular. If I want to make it plural, what would it be?
Country.
All right. Before we write it, let's look at our word. Look at what's at the end of our word. We're going to have to do one of our suffix rules if we want to add to this to make it plural. Which suffix rule are we going to have to do?
Our Y exchange rule.
Good, our Y exchange rule. So we're going to have to trade our Y for what?
An I.
An I. And then when we do that, can we ever just add S?
No.
What do we have to add?
An E.
Good, a silent E first. All right, so we have to do our Y exchange rule. Go ahead and write countries. Don't forget to do that Y exchange rule. Or the silent E before the S. All right, class, so our Y exchange rule, remember any word that ends with this single Y, if we want to add any suffix that doesn't start with I, we have to trade our Y for an I. So this, our Y exchange rule is special. Our other rules are just for vowel suffixes. The Y exchange rule is for all our suffixes. So class, tell me what the plural of country is.
Country.
Countries. But can I just add S to this word?
No.
No. I have to do my Y exchange rule, so my first syllable is exactly the same. But in my second syllable, I trade my Y for an I. And then I have to add a silent E before I add my S. Make sure your word looks like this. If it doesn't, we're saying the sounds while we're fixing them. Right, if we're fixing it, we need to make sure we're saying the sounds while we're writing them. Remember, we're not erasing if there's a mistake, we've got to cross it out. Say the sounds while we're fixing them. That's how the right spelling is going to get stuck in our head. All right, that was the only tricky one in our group today. This was the only one where we had to do anything besides just add S. Let's do our last one. All right, class, the singular is example. What is the plural?
Example.
Examples, all right. Make sure you are saying the sounds while you're writing them. All right, pencils are down when we're finished. All right, class, what is the plural of example?
Example.
Examples. What's our first syllable?
S.
Second one?
Am.
Third one?
Pull.
And it's actually going to be pulls, right?
Yeah.
Examples. Is this going to need a marking?
Yes.
Show me if it needs a marking. Examples. Good, it's saying its second sound. Go ahead and mark it. All right, nice job, class. In just a minute, we'll write some sentences. So if you're watching online, I want you to write 3 sentences. At least 2 of them need to use one of our plural nouns. So 3 sentences using 3 words we practiced today, but 2 of them you need to use the plural form. All right, class, let's stand up and stretch.